Of the Pathways to Success Action Team, which also consists of Mrs. Erlmeyer and Mrs. Adams. We are super excited for you to have the opportunity to explore various career pathways from professionals in the field today. We believe that it is important to put first things first and start to prioritize your future goals to achieve success. I am pushing myself today outside of my comfort zone by being up here talking to all of you at once. I'm going to challenge you to also push yourself out of your comfort zone today. I want you to begin with the end in mind, thinking about where you want to be in the future. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, by being open to hearing others' perspectives today. This morning, you will hear from our keynote speaker, Erick Danielson, from ICANN. He will share some insights about career planning and finding the right fit for you. Erick is the Vice President of Programs for Iowa College Access Network, or ICANN, and has been employed for them for over 24 years. In addition, he has served as an admissions counselor for William Penn University for 2 years. He is very passionate about his family, faith, and enjoys 80s music and cheering for the St. Louis Cardinals, the Dallas Cowboys, and the University of Illinois. Please give a warm welcome to Erick Danielson.
Within about a minute, if you've never met me, and I live in Norwalk, some of you, there are familiar faces that are out there, so I'm real happy to be able to be a part of this today and quickly go over some career information with you. But when they asked me to put in some of my passions, if you met me within a minute, you'll realize that I am a big sports fan, so I had to list those teams out. And I see one gentleman that's very smart today wearing a Cardinal shirt, so go St. Louis Cardinals. I know there will be some boos, that's okay. We can live with that. We can live with that. But in fact, when I was thinking about beginning this today and talking about careers, quite honestly at ICANN, I've been with them for over 24 years. So yes, I am old and have been around a while now in talking about college and stuff is within our name. But the last 5 or 6 years, we've been trying to target a little bit more in talking about careers. And today I want to share with you just real quickly before you go on and explore some of these careers with the great day that they have planned for you today, just things that you need to be thinking about. And going through with that. I remember in junior high, actually it was about a month ago, and somewhere in here, I've got a daughter that's in here, and we were attending a conference and they were talking about careers, and I happened to talk to her and I said, hey, I remember not having anything like this when I was in high school, but in junior high, I mean, I think we all had maybe different aspirations then than what we do maybe right now. And what I wanted to be in junior high is I did want to play in some form or another for the St. Louis Cardinals. So I just kind of shared that with her and stuff, and expecting her response, that's great, what you want to do or get into it more. Well, actually, her only response was, how'd that work out for you? Obviously, I'm not playing with them right now, so it didn't quite go what I wanted to do in junior high until now, but that's okay. As going through high school and actually going on to college, I would never expect to be doing what I'm actually doing today. In junior high, I would never be thought that public speaking would be something that I would want to do. And really, it wasn't until I explored it more and did it more that allowed me to come to the job that I really enjoy right now. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you a little bit about today in getting careers. And one of the first things that I wanted to mention to you is, why is this so important? I know some of you, maybe you are excited about today and hearing about careers and finding out a little bit more. And others of you might be thinking, I'm only a freshman, even a sophomore, a junior. I've got plenty of time to be able to figure this out. Well, I will tell you, our goal today is not necessarily to have you nail down what the rest of your life is going to look like and nail down that specific career. Quite honestly, some of you could if you hear something and know what you want to do. But what we really want you to continue to be thinking about is exploring this. Thinking about what life after high school is going to be like. And in exploring careers, not only what you'll get to talk with today in the different breakouts that you sign up for, but even outside of while you're going through high school, we would love you to communicate with some of the people that you know that they have jobs. It might even be jobs that you're not interested in, but find out, and think about who loves their jobs, who don't. and ask them the reasons behind it. Why this is so important, I don't really have it up here, but you got to be thinking, once you're done with high school around the age of 18, and whatever education you do and then the career you're going into, you're going to be continuing to do that career or different careers or be working for over 40 to 50 years of your life. You do not want to do something in between that middle of your life that you do not enjoy and that you want to do. By doing some of the exploring right now while you're in high school is going to help better set you for what you want to do later on down the road, and hopefully something that you love to do as you're going through life. Because if you, and again, you probably know some people, it could be parents, it could be friends, parents, whoever it might be, I'm sure that you know some people that do not like their jobs. And if they don't like their jobs, a lot of time that affects other parts of their life as well. If you can find something that you love and that you enjoy, that's going to help you go through this life. I'm not going to say easy, but a little bit easier to enjoy and affect other areas of it as well. So these are things that we not only want you to think about today, but as you're going all through high school. I know there are seniors that are in here right now. Some of you might not have an idea still what you want to do, and others you've nailed it down. You've got your college picked out of what major that you're going to. I would encourage some of you underclassmen that talk to some of the seniors that have nailed down their decisions, find out why. They can also maybe be a help in what they found out with where they're looking at going to. This slide right here, I just wanted to show you another reason why it's so important in looking on what you're doing within after high school and why we want you to think about the career. First of all, the career or careers that you might be interested in, there's going to be different education levels that you're going to have to take advantage of. And on this slide, the thing that I do want to encourage you to be thinking about is that there's no one pathway that's right for every student. All of you are going to be a little bit different. All of you are going to be different than your parents or grandparents or friends. Your pathway, what we want you to try to find is what your pathway is and what's the right fit that is for you, and exploring that throughout high school here. But I will tell you that most of the jobs now do require some education beyond high school. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be a four-year school, not by any means. When we say some education beyond high school, I'll have a slide a little bit later, but that could be an apprenticeship program. That could be a 3 to 9 month certificate program. It could be 2 years in college. It could be 4, it could be more. Any career or careers that you're looking at is going to have different education training levels, and that is going to be something to help you decide on what your next move is going to be after high school. And it is not too early as freshmen, as sophomores, as juniors even to be thinking, especially juniors, as you're getting closer to almost your senior year next year and making decisions. And I'm sure most of the seniors could tell you that it goes very fast, the senior year, and decisions that have to be made. So why doing some of this research a little bit earlier can be helpful. The other thing I wanted to show is we really want to encourage you to find something that does require some education beyond high school, or most of the jobs now out there are going to do that. There are jobs, and there are good jobs right now in this economy, where it might not take any education beyond high school and you can get right into that jobs. And some of them pay pretty decently right now. But your chances of promotion is only about 5%. That was the other thing I wanted to show. So some of you that are juniors or seniors might be working at some good jobs right now that are paying well, at least at this time. But do think about the promotion too and stuff, and I would still encourage you to be looking at jobs that you would love, that whatever the training level is going to be. And you're going to be able to find that out a little bit by talking to the folks where you're in the breakouts today. Now, I know maybe not all of you, but I know many of you, one of the reasons why you may love a job could be the amount of money that you end up making. And this slide just shows the amount of money, the more education that you have, the more on average that you're going to be able to earn. Now, there are going to be some exceptions to the rules with anything, but the more education that you have, the chances are you're going to earn more. I quite honestly hope all of you aren't just picking a job just for the money, because it could be a job, even if it pays well, that's not the right fit for you, that you don't enjoy. But I do realize for some of you that is going to be a part of the equation, and something that we want you to know, and at the very end of this, I'll tell you one reason why we want you to find out what the starting salary is going to be for some of the careers that you might be looking at. Now, this is something that I know many of you have already done, probably even started some of it in junior high, and have done it just about every year within high school. We want to encourage you to do that, and that is exploring with careers. Most of you probably remember taking some type of assessments with your career system here. They ask you questions on what your abilities, your interests, and your values are. If you've just done that, but really haven't taken a hard look at the careers that popped up for you, I would encourage you to do that and find out a little bit more and dive into, with your online career system, which I forgot what that is here. Cooter. With the Cooter system that you have here, you can dive into those careers and find out what the starting salary is, what the job growth is, how much education level, the likes and dislikes from people. Now you're going to have an opportunity to do that today as well while you're in your breakout sessions with the folks there. And I'll probably mention this again, but I encourage you, ask questions. Ask questions to them folks that took their time today, came to the breakouts and explaining those careers if something doesn't quite make sense to you. With these interest inventories or exploring the careers, even what you see today, it's not only about finding out what you think that you might want to do, that's a part of it, but you may also find out what you don't want to do. And that's great in the exploration process. If you find out jobs you just know that this isn't going to work out for me, likes or dislikes, then you cross them off. All of that is a part of this whole process in itself. One of the things that, again, with these career assessments that can help, though, at least lead you into showing you what different types of careers that are out there. You have a very diverse breakout sessions today that you're able to choose from, and I know you've already done that, but when I was sent the master list, I mean, you've got electrical engineering, the Air Force is here, fitness, pharmacy, auto technician, physical therapy, accountants, radiology, real estate, nursing, veterinarians, a pilot even. You've just got a lot of different areas that you can take a look at, which is great. And it's something that we want you to know about. Here in Iowa, we've broken up these different careers into clusters. Now, with the different career clusters that are out there, these are 3 of them right here. You've got the ag, food, and natural sources, and you see some of the jobs that might be in there, the applied sciences, technology, and business. You might be leaning towards, once you do an assessment, towards a certain cluster, and not all those jobs within that cluster are going to be something that you're interested in, but it could lead to looking up for other careers that are in there that you hadn't even thought about. So I guess what I'm trying to say is make sure that you are looking over those assessments that you do. It's not just an assignment, but can be important in helping you explore what you want to do after high school and what careers might be of interest to you. I guess the other thing I want to point out, because I've helped some students with different assessments before, is you may get an assessment that is completely off, like none of these careers are something that I want to do. Those systems will still allow you to maybe jump into something that you can and do more exploring for and finding out, again, some jobs that are out there, the education levels, other things that you really dive into. So I would, again, utilize these assessments, and I would encourage you to do it each year, because they measure the abilities, the values, and the interests that you have, or questions for that. As you go through high school and take classes and do other, maybe volunteer work, working part-time, some of your abilities, your interests, and your values could change over time. And so you could get some other areas that you never thought about before. Now, while you're in high school at this time, and again, this is a great day to be able to take advantage of and see a lot of different careers that are out there, but something that we also want you to think is, with the classes that you have, don't look at them as just different subject areas. With those classes, you're trying to gain experiences into maybe some of the areas that you'd utilize in certain careers. Your extracurricular activities that you do, whether in school and outside the school, can help in gaining you some valuable, skills that can help within any career, like what we call soft skills, but also maybe helping you investigate some areas that you might want to get into. For example, if one of your extracurricular activities was helping out with one of the sports teams, that may lead into getting you experience and realize how much you enjoy doing that, and you'd like to be a part of a sports team in somehow, whether coaching or manager or whatever it is, being involved in some way even later on and getting into that. You may be involved in that way and find out that's not what you want to do. It can go either way, but the experiences that you gain, extracurricular activities, the volunteer work that you do, if you do any type of volunteer work anywhere, if you're volunteering to help out with the kids in a Sunday school class at your church, for example, you may realize, oh, I'd like to maybe get into something where I'm working with kids. Or sometimes when you work with kids, you realize maybe I don't want to do something that I want to do with kids. Again, either way, you're finding out a little bit more and you're exploring while you're doing volunteer work like that. Job shadowing, internships, part-time employment, working part-time. You may find out, even if it's a part-time job, that you're not necessarily going to look at getting into that career, you still may be able to figure out what you like and don't like within jobs and what works well and doesn't work well. I will mention the job shadowing right now. For job shadowing would be going for maybe a day and just shadowing a person within their certain field. We give some areas of examples that are up here like this. You have a lot of advantages where you live, not only here in Norwalk, but being in the greater Des Moines area, of being able to maybe do some job shadowing. And I'm sure your school counselors, the places themselves, if you were ever interested in a job shadow, you can get help in trying to set one of those things up and going through a day and actually seeing what might be good. You could, going into medicine, doctor's, dentist office, veterinarian's office, you can find out if you're interested in that area what exactly that they do. And maybe it sounds good on the outside, but if you go in there and see that they've got to do something that you just, you can't take advantage of, you couldn't stick a needle into an armed person, for example. You might need to look at a different career. So again, I keep saying we want you to try to find out what you do like, but even sometimes finding out what you don't like is going to be helpful in the ultimate decision that you're going to end up making in what you do after high school. Now, something else that's kind of a little maybe off topic here, but I wanted to mention within this, and that is if you haven't started an activity resume already, and I don't care whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, if you have not started an activity resume, keeping track of what you've done from freshman year on in school and outside the school, I would highly encourage you to do that. Eventually, you're going to need that somewhere. If you are applying to colleges, sometimes colleges will ask for it. Applying to scholarships, sometimes the scholarships. A lot of this may start during junior and senior year when you're actually using it, but why I would suggest freshmen, sophomores even start it right now is you can keep adding on to it as you go along so you don't miss anything. So we, at our website at icansucceed.org, we've got a template for an activity resume that you can utilize in keeping track of your different activities. And again, in school and outside the school is what we would want you to try to utilize this, or keep track of and utilize this, whatever it might be. This person right here, Brady, showing volunteer experience, academics, athletics, if there was any part-time work, everything keeping track of on there, because eventually somebody might ask for that. And again, we would want you to have it already ready, if at all possible, and not miss out on something that could be very valuable in whatever setting, whatever reason that somebody asked for it. Again, at college, if you're applying a scholarship, we don't want you to leave anything off. So keeping track of that is good. Now, coming back to really, again, the reason why today we feel is so important, and you're going to be going to these breakouts and learning from the different careers, is we do want to try to find what is the right fit for you. What is going to be the right fit, what you're going to need to do or what you should do after high school. And finding that right fit, again, I'm saying for you individually. What is the right fit for your best friend may not be the right fit for you. What was the right fit for your parents may not be the right fit for you. What is the right fit for your coach may not be the right fit for you. We want to find out what your right fit is, and the more that you do some of this exploring and finding out as you're going along through high school, the better you're going to make a more informed decision on what is your plan after high school, what is going to be the right fit for you. There's a lot of options that you can do. There's options like going into a full-time job. There's career and tech programs where you can go within 3, 9 months, 1 year, get certificates and jump into the workforce. Training, apprenticeships, military. These are also options, a lot of different options that are out there for students. And as you think about it, we've also got the 2 or 4 year college and university. There's many options, and there's going to be a right fit for you in some form or another. We want you to try to make sure that you make the right fit the first time if you can, in leading to, again, the career path or paths that you might be looking for. I do want to point out, or showing with this slide in here, just explaining a little bit more, again, the different education and training options. Most of the careers nowadays, the one slide said over 67%, and that number keeps rising. Back in 1973, it was only about 27% required some education beyond high school. Now it's 67 and continuing to climb. But again, when we talk about education beyond high school, it can be an apprentice career training program. You know, if you want to be an electrician, a bricklayer, steam fitter, those are apprenticeships that you can get into without technically going to college. If you can get into an apprenticeship program, you're getting paid as you go along, learning and training. Now, it could take 4 or 5 years to become fully certified, and I think there are some apprenticeship programs today that you can find out a little bit more about. But for those students that are very interested in those programs, it is a big work shortage right now in many of those areas. And that's something that you might be able to take advantage of into an apprenticeship program. But again, that's not going to be the right fit for every student. Some other students might be looking at careers that take 3 to 9 months or a year, certificate or diploma programs to be able to get into. Some are going to be 2-year programs, associate degrees, we call those. A lot of community colleges will offer those. And then some of your careers are going to take 4-year bachelor's degrees to be able to get into it. And others, you know, if you're looking at getting into doctors or graduate programs, it's going to be even more. Again, what we want to try to find is what is the right fit for you, and doing some of your exploration within the careers, you're going to need to find out what kind of education levels that you're going to see. In fact, I would encourage you today, whatever breakouts that you go to, one of the questions, if they don't say it right away, which they might, is ask them what education that they took to get into the career path that they needed to. They'll be able to let you know directly on some of our career speakers today what that career path was. Now, many of you are going to be looking at careers that are going to require some education, 2, 4 years, maybe more, within a college and a university. These are some things that I wanted to make sure to point out that you need to consider when choosing a school. Now, your major and program is something that you're definitely going to want to make sure that you take a look at, your major and program. That's going to vary from all of you, but not every college and university has every major and program that is out there. So just to make sure to do that. I tell the story, my boss where I work at, he chose a college, a private school here in the state of Iowa for his first year going to school. And his first day at that private college, he found out that they did not have the major and program that he wanted. It wasn't something when he was deciding on the school that he looked at. He looked at a lot of other things that were on this list, but program and major he didn't. So what he had to do was take a lot of general education classes during that first year and then transfer on to a 4-year public university here in Iowa that had the major and program that he wanted. We want you to try to find out what careers you might be interested in, and one of the factors, even though they're going to vary, that's something you need to figure when you're choosing a college. Some of these other things that are listed up here are going to be important to some of you more than others. The location. You want to stay here in the state of Iowa. You want to look out of state. That will vary from you all. But one of the most important things you need to make sure is whatever college and university that you would choose, if that is what you need to do to get that career and program you're looking at, make sure they offer the program that is available. Now, another way in finding the right fit, I'm just pointing out a website that is up here called collegeraptor.com. College Raptor, just like the dinosaur, collegeraptor.com. They're a website that's actually nationwide, but they're located here, started out of Iowa City, to where they will help you find some colleges and universities if you haven't started that search yet, finding some ones you can explore based on your academic fit, what major program and where your academics are at right now. The cultural fit, there are some of those other factors that are important to you. They will ask you questions and then try to find the right fit that meets academic, cultural, and even a financial fit. I know that that's something, if you're not thinking about, parents or others are going to be thinking about how much it's going to cost and where you're looking at going to. So collegeraptor.com is a website that would help you explore and do that, and something I just wanted to make sure to mention to you there. I also want to mention about a college fair that will be coming up, a career in college fair that'll happen next September. Now, I definitely would encourage all the freshmen and sophomores to come. For the juniors, even if you as seniors next year aren't sure yet what you want to do or need more exploring, by all means, you're more than welcome to come as well. But we have a college fair on Sunday, September 25th out at the Prairie Meadows Convention and Conference Center, where we'll have different career information that is out there, as well as about 120 to 130 colleges and universities, not only in Iowa, but from around the United States. It's a great place in one setting to be able to visit a lot of different colleges and universities and get more information about their programs and majors as well. So that is on Sunday, September 25th, again, out at Prairie Meadows Convention and Conference Center. One last topic before we leave here today that I know Mrs. Ermeyer had wanted me to touch base on because she had read an article when she reached out about doing this keynote, and that's about affordability. If you are looking at needing to go to college to get the career or degree that you want to do, affordability is the big thing. We don't want you to have this cost you any more than it needs to. And one of the things that we need to point out, and I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is when you're exploring careers, money could be, I don't want to say the only factor, but it could be a big factor. You're going to want to know, how much is this job going to earn me? We want you, when you're exploring, to figure out what the starting salary is going to be. Not what you're going to make if you've been working there 20 years or whatever. Make a realistic starting salary. Once you're out of your education and you jump into whatever career that you're interested in, what is that starting salary is going to be? Obvious statement, but different jobs cost different amounts of money. So if you go on to college and a university, you're not going to be able to afford the same amount of student loan payments if you have to take out student loans that every student is going to be able to do. We have some information up here on how you can find out a little bit more about your return on college investment and get more information there. But basically what I wanted to show you or let you know today, kind of a preemptive strike if you could say, is that if you do go on to a college and university, and if you need to borrow money to help with your education, we would like to see you not borrow any more money than what your expected starting salary is going to be once you're done with your education and you get into a job. So whatever that might be on that list today that we have, whatever, veterinarian, pilot, whatever it is that you're looking at, try to find out what the realistic starting salary is going to be and then not borrow any more than that. Where we see a lot of students get into trouble over borrowing is they borrow everything that they can or they don't worry about it, not realizing that a starting salary of $35,000, if you borrow $80,000, $800 per month for the next 10 years is going to go to your student loan payments. You're not going to have any money for anything else that you're probably going to want once you get that job. A new car, maybe a home eventually. Other things that are out there because all of your money are going to go to your student loan debt. Now there's a lot of talk within the press and that about eliminating or wiping out or forgiving some student loan debt. Right now I have no idea what's going to go on through that or what's going to come in the other years. I just know what it is at right now. And we want to just, again, plant that seed today in your mind about not overborrowing.
This is why there's such a job shortage right now.
This is why there's such a job shortage right now. All right. I'll be honest, I'm not in any disagreement with what you're saying right now, but you know what? Whatever it is, whatever the reality is, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up is we don't want you to fall into an area that has no job growth. That's another thing. Sometimes there could be still majors that are out there within schools that there's not a lot of job growth that is getting into. We want to make sure as you're exploring to find out a career that does have the job growth in it so that if you do have to borrow whatever it is, you can help pay for that debt. But thank you for mentioning that, and it's part of the reason why we're here. All right. Before we dismiss here, I'm going to bring up the last thing that I will mention. If you'd like more information, this is our website at icansucceed.org. And I'll be here. Not all of us are going to have all the answers for you on in that with about different careers and what they're out there. That's why we want you to talk to some of the experts today, take advantage of those breakouts that you have. And again, good luck with this, not only just today, but as you go along through this process. Please continue to explore and learn, and I hope you enjoyed today. I'm going to turn it back over now to Mrs. Adams.
All right, can we give another round of applause for Mr. Danielson? And thank you for being here today. All right, So we're going to now begin our the rest of our sessions today. Hopefully everybody has looked at their Infinite Campus. Make sure your Infinite Campus is what you're following because that's how attendance will be taken. We're going to start with the first session, which is actually period 3. Okay? So when you're looking on your sheet or on your Infinite Campus, you're going to start with the date, which will be 4/20, which is the first one, and then it'll go from that. I know. Thank you for that. And then, so period 3 is where we're going to be heading to right now. So we're going to do this in a nice formally fashion, and then you'll report to your first session. So we're going to start with this side. You guys can go ahead and exit out this door. This half of the auditorium, go ahead and go out that door. And then in the middle, maybe kind of split between so you guys can get out a little easier.